I was married, happily married, for 31 years, and my husband passed away from cancer. My life pretty much fell apart at that point. I read every book I could get my hands on that was Christ-centered on how to be a widow and go through life. And I did this for many, many, many years. And then one day I woke up and thought, I just want to share my life with someone. I became a widow at what I consider a young age. So my very first date, I met this man at a busy, crowded restaurant, and it was actually pleasant. I thought, oh, I can do this. And when I left, I called my daughter on the phone, and I went, I either met an absolutely amazing man or I met the biggest liar in this whole world. And we both just cracked up laughing.
I got married when I was 19, right out of high school, to my high school sweetheart, and then was divorced by the time I was 29. And we had 2 children, 7 and 10, and I had custody of them, so they were with me, and it was difficult because I didn't have a full-time job. After many years, I did get married again, but after a few years, it was abusive, and so I knew I needed to get out of that, and that was a struggle. But I did, after leaving that marriage, it inspired me to write the book, The Vow, because I wanted to be an example for my children to do the right thing. So I did start dating again and went to a singles Bible study, and that's where I met him. He called me a few days later, and we went and had coffee, and as we were visiting, I learned that he had a strong medical background, and I really liked that because I was in the home health care business, so I knew that we would have a lot to talk about.
Being a Christian, I had to have a man that was a Christian. My husband was a Christian, and so he appeared to be a very strong Christian. He could quote the Bible front to back. He could quote Bible verses out of thin air, pull them out and say them. I thought, this is just absolutely amazing. But then it just started progressing very quickly. He actually proposed to me, and I said yes. I didn't know how to say no. And it was so quick. And that's when the investigation started. And that started with my son-in-law. He was like, this isn't right. When I met him, he had told me that he had been married once. And the truth of the matter was, when I met him, he wasn't even divorced from that one person. And he also found out that he had at least 4 other marriages.
After we'd been dating a while, he said he wanted to take me to the church. And so we went out and to the front of the church where the big cross is. It's very beautiful, and he got down on one knee and asked me to marry him. And I felt it was really rushed, but he said, don't worry about anything, I'll take care of everything. I have a friend that's a minister, and he can marry us. The wedding was very sweet. We had some family and friends there, and he cried at the ceremony. It was very emotional. But as soon as the ceremony was over and we went out to get in the car, he picked up the phone and he called his ex-wife. And that's when I knew that something was not right. Days after the wedding, he said he needed to go to work, and he got up, but he never came home. At the time, I really didn't know what to do, and so I finally contacted someone that had known him for a long time. And as soon as they called me back, they told me that I needed to go get an annulment immediately.
My son-in-law would not give up, and he continued to call me, and the last thing he had found was that he had an annulment with this lady named Helen. And so son-in-law's a brave guy. He picks up the phone and he just calls her, and he just says, hey, did you know that when you were married that this same guy was engaged to my mother-in-law? So then when my son-in-law called and he told me some information about her, I didn't really have much information on the other women. I Googled her and I saw that she had written a book, and it was called The Vow, The Journey to Truth. So I just thought, wow, so I was just reading, trying to find out what that book was about. And then I thought, well, shoot, if my son-in-law can call her, I'm going to call her. So I called and I said, Helen, this is Betty. I think we need to talk, about this person that we have both been seeing. Well, she hung right up on me. So then I decided I'm going to order the book. So I ordered it online. And then in the meantime, all I knew what to do was to pray.
Shortly after I received the phone call from the lady in the grocery store, I received a message on my PayPal
that it was Betty, and she asked if she could buy a book. And so I felt humbled and angry at the same time, and emailed her back and asked if I could just meet her. And she emailed back right away and she said, yes, let's meet tonight.
When she walked in, and I was kind of sitting in a corner booth, and I knew it was her. It was pretty amazing, and instantly I just felt peaceful.
But then it didn't take long for the pain and the tears to turn into laughter. When she started, I said, okay, you tell your story and I'll tell my story. And when she would say something, I would say, oh yeah, I was in that picture on that day, just a little later in the day or a little earlier in that day.
Every time we talked, there was like a new little seed that was planted of something that happened to us, one or the other of us, and we're like, oh yeah, I remember that, did this happen? And it was endless. I mean, we would talk to each other all day long and almost meet every night because we felt so good about the cleansing.
Helen is far more the going out there, the visionary type person. And so she was the one that would encourage both of us and say, we need to do something to help other women, Betty. Let's think of something that we can do.
I just remember saying, Betty, I gotta go, I have an idea. I wanted to do a cross and put it on the heel of our shoe. But not calling it, H-E-E-L, calling it H-E-A-L, and giving God the glory because He brought us together for a reason.
The cross on the shoe is symbolic of opening up your heart to the Lord and to realize you have a lot of wonderful opportunities ahead of you in your life, and don't stop. Keep moving. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel guilty. Just charge after life. And we've gotten a lot of our focus from the Bible verse, Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go.
What's really wonderful about the cross is that when we tell people what we're doing, it's like they automatically start sharing their story.
Then we want to take it so far as helping other women that are involved with sex trafficking. We want to donate money to them. We want to help women in whatever way that would be.
We want women and children everywhere to know that they have a voice. And if that means walking from church to church, speaking from pulpit to pulpit, we would like them to know that they never have to walk alone, even if it means going to a Starbucks coffee and visiting with a friend.
We invite everyone, all you women, wear the cross. Let it be a constant reminder that you never have to walk alone. Remember, when you're down to nothing, God is up to something. There's no reason to ever feel any more pain, any more guilt.
No more humiliation.
Join us. You do have a voice. Tell your story. Embrace the Lord. You will never have to walk alone.